watching Metropole Television. Welcome to your Sector Trends this morning, where we're telling you exactly what is happening in other different sectors of the economy. My name is Simba Elijah Charles Kiaga. Get involved 21446. That's your SMS line at Metropole TVKE across all your social media platforms. Now, as COVID-19 moves our lives online, all right, young women and girls are more at risk than ever. They are threatened and abused every day, and it gets worse when they speak up and share their opinions online. And as the International Day is commemorated worldwide on October 11th, Planner International Kenya have come together behind a singular action to promote girls' visibility, drive new opportunities and action and investment in girls from across the world. But besides the International Day commemorated, how do we ensure our girls are safe online? All right. I'm all joined by Mercy Chege, the Director of Programs, Quality and Strategy, Plan International Kenya. Mercy, let's start with the theme. How is the freedom to be online for the girl child important, even beyond the day it is commemorated?
Thank you so much, and thank you for hosting me and Plan International for this show. Freedom online is not just for the Day of the Girl, or the International Day of the Girl, as we call it, but I think it is important for us to realize that we are in a new dispensation where a lot of what we are doing is moving online, and a lot of our lives are actually going to be spent working online, reading online, and doing business online. So it is important that we create safe spaces for the girls because they will need to be online to study. They will need to be online to look for jobs and to do their jobs, and also to keep in touch with their friends because we know that young people are social beings and they love keeping company. So when there is all this talk about social distancing, once in a while we have the lockdowns, it's important that they are able to keep in touch with one another, and therefore we need to keep the online space safe for all children, but especially for girls because they're the ones who suffer most on.
Pretty much, Mercy. Now, as Plan International Kenya, now what are some of your priorities as you fight for children's rights? And I want you to talk to me based on the Kenyan economy, and talk to me from the perspective of the major challenges that that the girl child is facing here in Kenya.
Thank you so much. On the online space, I'll talk about the online space, but also touch a little bit about what is happening offline as girls go about their lives. And on the online space, we know that it's exciting to be on social media. It's exciting to be online. It's exciting for young people just to discover that there's a global village out there that they can interact with. What maybe we haven't done as Kenyans is really talk to them about the dangers online. And therefore you find that girls will go online and they'll be told, oh, send me a photo of yourself, posing like this, dressed like this, or not dressed at all. And I think that amounts to sexual exploitation. And they will not know until they see their photos going viral and they start wondering, I thought I was sending this to a friend. There are many people who befriend young girls online, and girls don't know how dangerous that is. And they'll get exploited, they'll get bullied, they'll get body shamed, and that really brings down their self-esteem to an extent that sometimes you find them wanting to commit suicide and to go into a depression. So I think that is something that we all need to be aware of. And all the caregivers, parents and children, and teachers and concerned adults need to know that there's a lot of data online. When you talk about offline, you realize that girls don't know who to talk to when they have issues. And they will resort to talking about, normally they will talk to their friends when they meet in school, when they meet in social places. When they don't have that and have access to phones, you find themselves putting all their heart out to the internet. Nobody really cares about how you feel on social media, and they don't know that. So that poses a lot of danger for them. And they can post very intimate things like, I don't have pads. Like the issue of pads is really a big issue. Girls, especially the ones who are in primary school and secondary schools, used to get pads in school. Now they don't. So that is a crisis for them when they have their periods and they want to talk about it. Normally they will talk to a friend who probably has carried an extra pad and give them. But those are kind of issues that are affecting the girls. Not to say that they are being bullied at home, they are being harassed at home, they have so much work to do. And you also realize that there's a lot of violence right now against children, but especially girls. They are witnessing violence at home because of the reduced economies and the hardships that that parents are going through. They are also having a lot of free time and they want to experiment with friendships. They end up being sexually exploited. They end up getting pregnant. Their parents have no money. They want to marry them off. We have seen the rise in the cases of FGM. So there's a lot that is happening out there, and girls are really at risk with the lockdown and with the closure of the schools. Not to mention that without school and having lost almost a whole year, we don't know how many girls will be able to go back to school because they're either working, they were married off, they went through FGM, they're pregnant, or they were, they just don't feel like going back to school again. And that
Yes.
should be a lot of concern for us.
Pretty much. And Mercy, I mean, you talk about this, but then at the back of this, you have to promote also a young girl's visibility online in terms of driving new opportunities for action and investing in girls from across the world. That's fine. So when you have that together, and here it is, we're talking about online challenges. But on this other side, you also have this responsibility of making sure that Kenyan girls are seen online because that's where opportunities are. How difficult is it to manage these challenges that come online with also, balancing the challenges that come online with also improving the visibility of our young girls for these opportunities that are pretty much now online?
Yeah, thank you. A very good question and actually a good dilemma for everybody who is working with children and young people, and especially girls. Because we need to make sure that the girls are visible. They are not left behind. When the world is moving online, the girls should not be left behind. But I think the most important thing is to make sure that they have the information that they need to make informed choices, what sites they visit, who they talk to in like online, and what they do when they get on social media. And especially how much information about themselves they should be giving online. They just need that information. And then they also need to know what are the opportunities that are there online and how should you navigate. It's called safe surfing. So when you go to the internet, you can't say that I will not travel because there are so many road accidents. No, you still travel, but how do you keep yourself safe? And that's the kind of information that the young people need to know how to keep themselves when they get into that space. But also we need the people who are managing the providers, the Facebooks, the Twitters, the TikTok of this world. They need to know that they must have modalities of knowing when or checking and making sure that if they see a post that is not appropriate, that may affect somebody else, that may affect the lives of the young people and especially girls, they need to bring it down. And they need to have rules and regulations on how to deal with online perpetrators. But coming back home, even without going that far, I think we need to have a mechanism of reporting that really makes people feel safe to be online. That girls would know if I go online and I get bullied, if I take a photo of myself and it is photocropped and it is sent in a different format, I know who to call, I know where to go, and I know what will be done to them. And if I'm called, so that I can actually demonstrate what I sent online, even in a court of law, I will be heard. But I think the reporting mechanisms right now are a bit blurred on the online platform. And I know that the Ministry of ICT is really trying to make sure that they have the necessary mechanism to keep the children safe, and especially girls. We know about KSAT from the Communication Authority. They are doing their best, but I think we need a wider network of online protection, and we need solid laws that can actually keep perpetrators on check. So girls need to be online, that is true, but they need to know what is happening online and what endangers them online, and they also need to know where to report. And as a society, we need to have reporting mechanisms that are solid and that can protect children and especially girls online.
Pretty much, Mercy. I mean, it seems as if the conversations about the position of the the Kenyan girl in our economy are conversations that are quite pertinent. So I would like to understand, I mean, from what you're saying this morning, what strategic partnerships does anybody talking about sort of protecting the young girl, raising the opportunities for the young girl and making her visible properly? What strategic partnerships are you getting in, and any other person really therefore wanting to prop up the young girl should get into?
Yeah, thank you so much. Obviously, we say that girls need to be in school, and if the schools are closed, they need to be schools online, whether they are in primary schools, secondary schools, or even in the universities or tertiary colleges. So I think the education sector, the Ministry of Education, and the post-primary and secondary education should really partner with us to make sure that every child has an opportunity to be online. So we know we had the laptop project, and it did not quite roll out to all the areas before COVID, but I think it is very important that every child has an opportunity to be in school. We know that only about less than 50% of the children were able to be in class during COVID, and I think it is important for that to be rectified. The other one is with the organizations that provide employment for girls. They need to put their website, and they need to put their information online for girls to be able to access. And how about the foundations that offer social safety nets and economic safety nets, like the bank loans that are interest free, like they're the ones that give internships and and opportunities to learn for university students and young women. I think that all those ones should be able to extend on the online platform so that the girls can be able to access those opportunities. But I also think that it's important for girls to know which networks they need to be on to get mentored. So we need to partner with Safaricom, with Airtel, with Telcom, with Facebook, with Google, anybody who can provide the online platform for young people and for girls to know where the opportunities are beyond Kenya. We don't want to close our girls in Kenya, but they need to know what opportunities are out there, educational and also business and mentorship and scholarships. They need to get to know about this. They also need to put measures to make sure that as they are searching education opportunities and enterprises to access soft loans for, they need to be safe when they are online. Those opportunities should be provided equally for young men and young women so that no one is left behind.
Pretty much, Mercy, as we clear this conversation this morning, in 2 minutes, if you may, I mean, what is your strategic vision for the Kenyan girl and child as a whole? And can you talk to me from where you said it this morning also on some of the strides that we have made as a country in terms of recognizing the girl child?
A few years back, like 5 years back, I think it was only a few organizations, and Plan International was very visible in marking the International Day of the Girl. Now it is marked by very many organizations, and they are tailor making the International Day of the Girl to just focus on the issues that they are passionate about. And you realize has been given the International Day of the Girl. That is a big stride, including the government marking the International Day of the Girl. I think that is a very big plus, and calling on partners to to mark the day with them. I think for me that is one of the things that we have made. We know that there are opportunities for young women to access funding, and especially those who have the groups, and they have started a business. They have a business plan. They can be able to be funded by the government, and I think that is also very good. You have seen the return to school policy. The return to school policy is very important because if a girl unfortunately gets pregnant, they are able to go back to school. So I think as a country we have many things that are affecting us and trying to create. Look at the president's directive that by 2022, we should make sure that there is no FGM in Kenya. The Vision 2030 has a big focus on girls and young women. So I think we trying to implement that as a country. Looking at organizations like Plan International, there's a lot that we are doing. You can see what we try to do during the day, the International Day of the Girl, and even the days prior to the International Day of the Girl. Just making sure that girls feel represented.
All right, Mercy, we seem to have lost you towards that end, but I would like to thank you very much because your point was actually quite clear up to where we ended that conversation. Thank you very much for joining us this morning here on Metropole Television. We take a short break. Once we come back, let's talk about IP issues as relate small businesses in the economy.